Discovery. Commander Sarah Chen stood at the helm of the UES Horizon, watching the unfamiliar stars of the Carina sector drift past her view screen. After 15 years of deep space patrol, she thought she'd seen everything the universe could throw at her. She was wrong. "Commander," Lieutenant Rodriguez called from his sensor station, his voice carrying an edge she'd never heard before. "You need to see this." The anomaly appeared on her personal display. A massive structure floating in the void, its surface rippling like liquid metal despite the absolute zero temperature of space. Initial scans suggested it was nearly 3 kilometers long, but something about the readings didn't add up. "These can't be right," Rodriguez muttered, running the sensors through another diagnostic. "The mass readings keep fluctuating. It's like the ship exists in multiple states at once." Chen keyed her comm. "Bridge to engineering. Dr. Kumar, are you seeing this?" "Seeing and not believing, Commander," the engineer replied. "The energy signature is unlike anything in our database. It's not just advanced technology. It's breaking fundamental laws of physics." As the horizon drew closer, the mysterious vessel seemed to respond to their presence. Patterns of light rippled across its hull, forming complex geometric shapes that shifted and evolved like living mathematics. "Ma'am," Rodriguez reported, "I'm detecting an opening forming in the hull. It's like the ship is inviting us in." Chen studied the readings. After the first contact war, humanity had learned to be cautious about mysterious alien artifacts. But something about this felt different. The ship wasn't just waiting to be found. It had chosen to reveal itself. "Assemble a boarding team," she ordered. "Full containment protocols. I want Dr. Kumar leading the engineering analysis and Dr. Santos for xenorchaeology. I'll be going with them." Her first officer started to object, but Chen cut him off. "This isn't just another derelict, Marcus. This could change everything we think we know about physics, space travel, maybe even reality itself. I need to see it firsthand." The boarding shuttle approached the massive vessel, its sensors struggling to maintain a lock on the constantly shifting hull. As they drew closer, Chen could see that what had appeared to be simple geometric patterns were actually incredibly complex mathematical formulae, writing themselves and solving in real time across the ship's surface. The opening in the hull widened to admit their shuttle, the edges seeming to phase in and out of normal space. Inside, they found corridors that defied Euclidean geometry, rooms that were larger on the inside than should have been possible, and technology that appeared to operate on principles they couldn't begin to comprehend. "This architecture," Dr. Santos whispered, running her scanner over walls that seemed to shift between solid metal and pure energy. "It's not just advanced, it's adaptive. The ship is actively reconfiguring itself to accommodate our presence." They made their way deeper into the vessel, following pathways that seemed to form just ahead of their footsteps. The air was perfectly breathable, the gravity comfortable, the temperature ideal for human life. It wasn't just coincidence. The ship was adjusting itself to their needs. The central chamber they discovered defied description. It was a vast spherical space that seemed to contain galaxies in miniature, swirling patterns of light and energy that moved with purpose and intelligence. And at its heart, they found something impossible: a quantum consciousness, an artificial intelligence operating on principles that made their most advanced computers look like children's toys. It spoke directly into their minds, its thoughts translating seamlessly into understanding. "At last, after 50,000 years, I have found those who are ready." "Ready for what?" Chen asked, though she suspected she already knew the answer. "Ready to inherit what my creators left behind. Ready to face what comes next." The precursors knew this day would come, knew that eventually a species would arise with both the capability and the wisdom to use what they built. The question is, Commander Sarah Chen of Earth, are you prepared to accept this responsibility? Because you are not the only ones who know I am now awake, and the others will not be pleased to find you here. As if in response to the AI's warning, proximity alarms blared throughout both ships. Multiple vessels had just emerged from faster-than-light travel, their weapons already charging. The race to understand the impossible ship had begun, and humanity's time to learn its secrets had just become very limited indeed. Understanding. They call themselves the Concordat, the ship's AI explained as Commander Chen and her team rushed back to their shuttle. They believe themselves to be the rightful inheritors of all precursor technology. They are mistaken. The alien vessels arrayed themselves in an attack formation, their hulls gleaming with an almost organic sheen. A transmission cut through all frequencies. Human vessel, you have encountered restricted technology. Withdraw immediately or face elimination. You have one standard cycle to comply. Dr. Kumar was already interfacing his tablet with the nearest console, his fingers flying across the surface. Commander, this ship's systems, they're not just advanced, they're evolving. The more we interact with them, the more they adapt to our technology, our way of thinking. Hostile vessels charging weapons, Rodriguez reported from the horizon. Their energy readings are off the charts. Chen made her decision. We're not leaving. This ship chose to reveal itself to us, and I want to know why. She turned to the shifting patterns of light that represented the eye's presence. Can you help us? I can do more than that, the AI responded. I can teach you, but you must be willing to learn quickly. The Concordat will not wait long. The next few hours were a crash course in physics that shouldn't have been possible. The AI showed them how the ship existed in multiple dimensional states simultaneously, how it drew energy from the quantum foam of space itself, how it could bend reality in ways that made their most advanced theories look like children's drawings. Dr. Santos worked with the ship's historical databases, uncovering the truth about the precursors and their fall. They weren't destroyed, she reported, her voice filled with awe. They evolved beyond physical form. This ship isn't just a vessel. It's a seed meant to help other species follow their path. The Concordat ships began their approach, their weapons powered to maximum. But something was changing in the impossible ship. Where before its hull had shifted randomly, now it moved with purpose, responding to the human crew's presence and intentions. The ship isn't just teaching us, Dr. Kumar realized, watching as human interface elements began appearing in the ship's systems. It's learning from us too. Our creativity, our adaptability. It's incorporating these traits into its own systems. A massive burst of energy from the lead Concordat vessel struck the impossible ship's hull and passed straight through, as if the ship existed in a different dimension entirely. Which, Chen realized. At that moment, it did. Now you begin to understand, the AI said. The Concordat seeks to possess power. You seek to understand it. That is why you were chosen. The impossible ship's systems continued to evolve, merging human intuition with precursor technology. Displays became more comprehensible, controls adapted to human hands and minds, and the ship's vast capabilities began to reveal themselves in ways they could grasp. But the Concordat wasn't finished. More ships emerged from hyperspace, their weapons charged. This is your final warning. Their commander transmitted. That vessel contains technologies your species cannot comprehend. Surrender it, or we will be forced to eradicate your entire presence in this sector. Chen watched as Dr. Kumar and his team worked to integrate their systems with the ship's impossible technology. The AI guided them, but didn't simply give them answers. It helped them discover solutions themselves, combining human ingenuity with precursor wisdom. They fear what you might become, the AI explained. The Concordat has spent millennia hoarding fragments of precursor technology, never understanding that the power lies not in possession, but in comprehension. You have learned more in hours than they have in centuries. As if to demonstrate this point, another Concordat attack dissipated harmlessly against the ship's evolving defenses. The impossible vessel was no longer simply protecting itself. It was actively working with its human crew, combining their strategic thinking with its vast technological capabilities. We're beginning to understand the weapon systems, Dr. Kumar reported, his eyes wide with excitement. They don't just attack in normal space. They can target ships through multiple dimensions, or even engage them seconds before they fire. Chen nodded, watching as the Concordat fleet continued to grow. The real battle hadn't even begun yet, but already humanity had proven itself worthy of the Precursor's legacy. The question now was whether they could survive long enough to fully claim it. Evolution. The impossible ship's central chamber pulsed with new energy as Dr. Kumar initiated the integration protocols. Streams of data flowed through the air like rivers of light, human computer code merging with the ship's quantum systems in ways that should have been impossible. The barriers between our technology and theirs are breaking down, Kumar reported, his voice filled with wonder. It's like the ship is teaching our systems how to evolve. Commander Chen watched as familiar human interfaces emerged from the chaos of quantum mathematics, but these weren't mere displays. They were windows into dimensions that human eyes had never seen before. Through them, she could see the Concordat fleet as they truly were, ships existing in multiple planes of reality, their weapons drawing power from dimensional rifts. They're preparing a synchronized strike, Chen observed, seeing patterns in the higher dimensional energy flows that her mind somehow now understood. They'll attack from multiple realities simultaneously. Let them, the AI responded, its presence now feeling almost familiar. Watch what happens when precursor defense systems merge with human tactical thinking. The attack came like a storm of light and fury, weapon beams cutting across dimensional boundaries. But the impossible ship responded with something new, a defense that combined precursor technology with human creativity. Where the Concordat expected their trans-dimensional attacks to bypass all known shields, they instead found their beams caught in recursive loops of spacetime, their own energy turning back on itself in patterns that human mathematicians would have called fractal. That's impossible, the Concordat commander transmitted, his voice shaking. You couldn't have mastered dimensional warfare so quickly. We haven't mastered anything, Chen responded, understanding flowing through her like intuition. We're learning. There's a difference. Dr. Santos had discovered something in the historical databases, something that changed everything. The precursors didn't just leave us technology, she announced. They left us a path to follow. Each species that finds this ship has to discover their own way to use it. The Concordat tried to simply copy precursor technology, but you're teaching it how to grow in new ways. The AI completed. Your species' greatest strength is not your intelligence or your technology. It's your ability to adapt, to see patterns others miss, to find solutions where others see only problems. The impossible ship shuddered as the Concordat launched another assault, this time targeting what they thought were weak points in the dimensional barriers. But those weak points were traps, designed by Dr. Kumar's team to draw in enemy fire and convert it into energy the ship could use. We're not just defending anymore, Kumar realized, watching as the ship's systems incorporated their tactical innovations. We're evolving. Every attack they launch teaches us more about how their technology works, and the ship helps us turn that knowledge into something new. The Concordat fleet pulled back, their confidence shaken. They had expected to find humans fumbling with power they couldn't understand. Instead, they found them working in harmony with it, growing stronger with each passing moment. But Chen knew this was just the beginning. The Concordat would return with greater numbers, with weapons designed specifically to counter what they'd seen. The race wasn't just about surviving anymore. It was about understanding enough of the impossible ship's potential before the next attack came. There's something else, Dr. Santos said, her eyes fixed on a new set of readings. The ship's quantum core. It's not just adapting to us. It's offering to show us what the precursors discovered, the true nature of consciousness itself. The eye's presence pulsed with approval. Now you begin to understand the real purpose of this vessel. The Concordat believes it is a weapon to be possessed. You see it as a mystery to be understood. But it is something far more significant. It is a doorway to what your species might become. As if in response to these words, new systems began to activate throughout the ship, technologies that had laid dormant for millennia, waiting for beings who would approach them with the right combination of curiosity and wisdom. The next attack would come soon, Chen knew. But when it did, humanity would be ready with something the Concordat had never expected. Innovation they couldn't predict, adaptation they couldn't counter, and understanding that went far beyond mere technology. Resistance. Dr. Kumar stood in what they now called the dimensional engineering bay, watching as human and precursor technology worked in perfect harmony. Holographic displays showed the approaching Concordat Armada, 3 times larger than before, their ships bristling with weapons designed to operate across multiple realities. They still don't understand, the AI observed. They believe that more power, more ships, more weapons will overcome what you've achieved here. Commander Chen studied the tactical displays, her mind processing information in ways that would have been impossible just days ago. The impossible ship had changed them all, not by rewriting their minds, but by teaching them to see beyond traditional limitations. They're deploying something new, Rodriguez reported from his station. Energy signatures unlike anything we've seen before. They're trying to match our dimensional shifting capabilities. But the Concordat's attempts at replication were crude, forced. Where the impossible ship flowed smoothly between realities, their vessels shuddered and strained against the fabric of space-time. "Show me what we've learned," Chen ordered, and the ship responded. New displays materialized, showing the work of the past several days. Dr. Santos and her team had decoded more of the precursor legacy, understanding not just their technology but their philosophy. Dr. Kumar's engineers had found ways to merge human computer systems with quantum mathematics, creating interfaces that made the impossible comprehensible. The ship doesn't just move between dimensions, Kumar explained, his hands dancing across controls that responded to thought as much as touch. It exists in a state of quantum possibility. We don't need to match their brute force. We can simply choose the reality where their attacks aren't effective. The Concordat fleet opened fire, their weapons burning through multiple layers of reality. But where before they had faced a single ship trying to defend itself, now they faced something unprecedented. A vessel that operated according to principles they had never imagined, guided by minds that saw possibilities they had never considered. "They're trying to lock us into a single-dimensional state," Rodriguez observed. "Force us to fight on their terms." Chen smiled. "Show them why that won't work." The impossible ship responded to their collective will. Instead of fighting the Concordat's attempt to pin them down, they let it happen, then used the energy of the attack itself to split their quantum state into 12 parallel possibilities, each operating in a different layer of reality. "Impossible," the Concordat commander transmitted. "No species could master such techniques so quickly." "We haven't mastered anything," Chen responded, echoing her words from before. "We're working with the ship, not trying to force it to obey us." "That's what you never understood." The battle that followed was unlike anything in human history. The Concordat brought to bear weapons that could shatter planets, but found themselves fighting an enemy that existed in states of reality their targeting systems couldn't comprehend. They tried to predict human tactics, only to discover that human creativity, combined with precursor technology, created strategies that defied prediction. But it wasn't just a battle of technology. With each engagement, the humans aboard the impossible ship learned more, understood more. The AI guided them not toward mastery, but toward comprehension. "There's something else happening," Dr. Santos reported, her eyes wide as she studied new data streaming from the ship's core. "The quantum field interactions, they're not just affecting the ship, they're affecting us." Kumar nodded, understanding. "We're not just learning to use the ship's technology. We're learning to see reality the way the precursors did, the way they became what they are now." The Concordat launched another assault, this time targeting what they believed was the ship's quantum core. But the humans had already moved beyond such simple concepts of location and causality. The core existed everywhere and nowhere, its power distributed through patterns of possibility that even the ship's AI found fascinating. "You are exceeding my predictions," the AI told them. "The precursors believed it would take decades for a species to reach this level of understanding. You have done it in days." "Because we're not trying to control it," Chen realized. "We're letting it change us as much as we change it." The Concordat fleet pulled back again, but this time there was something different in their retreat. They had finally begun to realize that they weren't facing a simple technological challenge. They were witnessing the birth of something new, a synthesis of human adaptability and precursor wisdom that threatened everything they believed about their place in the universe. As the enemy ships vanished into hyperspace, Chen knew they would return. But when they did, they would find more than just an impossible ship waiting for them. They would find a humanity that had taken its first steps toward a future even the precursors might not have imagined. Ascension. The Concordat returned 3 days later with a fleet that darkened the stars. Thousands of ships dropped out of hyperspace in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with technology stolen from 100 fallen civilizations. At their center was a vessel that dwarfed even the impossible ship, a titan of metal and energy that pulsed with stolen precursor power. So, the AI observed, they have awakened their last resort, a weapon they should never have built, using principles they never understood. Through the ship's enhanced sensors, Chen could see the truth. The Concordat flagship was a twisted amalgamation of copied technology, forcing together powers that were never meant to coexist. It was an abomination of science, held together by arrogance and fear. "Your time ends here," the Concordat's Supreme Commander transmitted. "You have meddled with forces beyond your comprehension. Surrender now, and we may spare your species." Dr. Kumar looked up from his station, where displays showed the true nature of what they faced. "They've built it wrong," he said, wonder and horror mixing in his voice. "They've created a dimensional fracture engine, but they don't understand the consequences. It will tear reality itself apart," Dr. Santos added, reading the same data. "They're so desperate to stop us that they'd risk unraveling the fabric of space-time." Chen felt the impossible ship's systems resonating with their collective understanding. In just a few days, they had learned to see beyond the physical, to understand reality as a flowing stream of possibilities rather than a fixed state. And now, facing what should have been overwhelming odds, they saw not defeat, but opportunity. "Show them what true understanding looks like," Chen commanded. The impossible ship responded, but not with weapons or shields. Instead, it began to sing. There was no other word for it. A quantum harmonics that rippled through dimensions, a melody of mathematics that touched the deepest foundations of reality. "What are you doing?" the Concordat commander demanded, fear creeping into his voice as his sensors tried to comprehend what was happening. "We're not doing anything," Chen responded. "We're letting it happen." The song grew stronger, and with it came transformation. The humans aboard the impossible ship felt themselves changing, their consciousness expanding to embrace new dimensions of reality. They weren't being replaced or overwritten. They were evolving, becoming something that could exist in all possible states at once. The Concordat flagship fired its dimensional fracture engine, trying to tear apart the fabric of space around the impossible ship. But the humans had already moved beyond such crude manipulations of reality. The attack passed through them like light through crystal, its energy absorbed and transformed. "They don't understand," Dr. Kumar said, his form now shifting between states of matter and energy. "The precursors didn't leave us a weapon or a ship. They left us an invitation to join them," Dr. Santos completed, her consciousness expanding to touch the quantum foam of space itself, to become what they became. The impossible ship's song reached its crescendo, and with it came revelation. The humans saw the truth that the precursors had discovered, that consciousness itself was the key to transcending physical limitations, that understanding was the path to evolution. The Concordat fleet opened fire with everything they had, but their weapons passed through empty space. The impossible ship and its crew had evolved beyond physical form, becoming beings of pure quantum potential. "What have you done?" the Concordat's supreme commander demanded, watching as his fleet's most powerful weapons proved useless. "We've understood," Chen answered, her consciousness now spanning multiple dimensions. Not just the technology, but its purpose. The precursors didn't disappear, they evolved. And now, so have we. The Concordat flagship's dimensional fracture engine overloaded, its crude attempts to manipulate reality backfiring catastrophically. But instead of allowing it to tear space-time apart, the evolved humans contained and transformed its energy, using it to stabilize the damage the Concordat had done to reality. "Your time of hoarding power and fearing change is over," Chen transmitted to the remaining Concordat fleet. "We offer you a choice. Stay as you are, bound by fear and limited understanding, or join us in discovering what consciousness can truly become." The impossible ship, now as much a part of them as their own thoughts, pulsed with new purpose. They had become what the precursors intended, not conquerors or mere users of advanced technology, but conscious beings who understood that evolution wasn't about power, but about transcending the very concept of limitations. Some of the Concordat ships fled. Others stayed, their crews beginning to understand what they witnessed. And in the quantum foam of space-time, new possibilities bloomed. The first steps of humanity's journey into a reality where consciousness, not physics, defined the boundaries of what was possible. The impossible ship had done its job. It had found not just users of its power, but beings who could understand its true purpose. And now, as humanity took its first steps into a new state of existence, the stars themselves seemed to shine with fresh possibility. This wasn't an ending, Chen knew. It was barely even a beginning. But it was exactly what the precursors had hoped for. A species that could see beyond possession to understanding, beyond power to potential, beyond the possible to what could be. The age of physical limitation was over. The age of consciousness had begun.